I want to talk about how you were raised, who was the disciplinary, and just how was your childhood, man?
Well, I mean, my parents were both from Mexico. They're both immigrants, and
Mhm,
you know, they came here for a better life, obviously, and
mhm,
they worked hard to provide us, with our home and a a better way of life than what they grew up.
mhm.
So I kind of always remember that my parents came here for a reason, and I'm not gonna have their sacrifices be in vain. All the hard work. So
Yeah,
growing up, I knew I was gonna join the military. I've always been interested in serving and the uniformity, the discipline that comes with the military.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, my mom is still around. My dad unfortunately passed away
mhm,
3 years ago.
yeah,
It was when we met. My first day in the ER, my dad passed away,
yeah,
and yeah, he was my best friend.
yeah,
But I attribute a lot of who I am today because of the way my dad raised us. He was a disciplinarian. He always, told us to, be men of courage and stand up for those who can't help themselves, speak up for those who don't have a voice,
yeah,
and be ready and willing to fight for what you believe if it comes down to it.
yeah. Um, you know, a lot of times when people pass, my mom always says that people will bring flowers to your funeral, but they won't bring you soup when you're sick.
Hmm.
But you're one of those people who do both. You will be there when someone needs them. And one thing that you did that I never knew anyone to do was you literally on birthdays, on the Marine Corps birthday, any significant day, you went to your pop's grave
Hmm.
and had a beer with him. And talk about that. Talk about that loyalty that because most people don't do that. Someone passed and they just try to forget it. They don't really still lock in. And obviously he taught you discipline and you got siblings and things of that sort. But really get into or maybe share a story of what your pops was about if because didn't get a chance to meet him. What would you tell me about him to where I would know the man he is besides just knowing who you are? Because you embody, I think, a lot of who he was.
Yeah, my dad was a hard worker. He definitely, he took care of my mom. Um, my dad always was there to teach me, even if it was house projects and whatnot. He taught me. He was in the military in Mexico, so he kind of had some of that discipline. And he told me, hey, you're gonna make a decision. You're gonna be a man, and and you better be ready to back up that decision.
Mhm.
Um, my dad, yeah, I could just say he was my best friend. He prepared me for life. He always told me, this life is gonna be rough, and it's all about how you react to it. You can't let it break you down,
Mhm.
because it's no one's gonna be there. At the end of the day, you are there to pick yourself up. And when he passed away suddenly. It was my first day working in the ER where I work now, and the last thing he told me was, congrats on getting in, mijo. I'm proud of you. He was getting ready to go to work. He was making his bed, and I told him, all right, Dad, I'm pulling a 24-hour shift, so I'll see you tomorrow. And I finished my first shift, went to my other hospital, and while I'm in the other hospital, I get a phone call from my little sister and my mom telling me you need to come home right now because something's going on with Dad. And so immediately I thought something's wrong. I'm thinking worst case scenario. I'm thinking cardiac arrest or something. Maybe I'm gonna get there, but someone can still bounce back from having a heart
Yeah.
attack. So yeah, I left, got my truck, and I raced down to my house, and I was watching the security cameras on my phone. I saw the ambulances, I saw the fire trucks, and I saw police officers. So then I'm thinking, what's going on? Why is there?
SPD
Yeah,
showing
why
up.
is PD showing up? So I'm racing and I'm waiting to see like, a gurney come out, but the ambulance doors were still open. I didn't see anybody. And, I used to work in the ambulance and ironically I worked in the same city with the same fire department. So
Yeah.
I I finally get home, I run in and my dad was just laying in bed. He looked like he was asleep. And the firefighters were still there because they know that was my house. They knew. I worked with them, so they were waiting there to kind of show their respect and kind of explain to me what happened.
Mhm.
Yeah, he had, the widowmaker, heart attack, and
Yeah.
um, my dad was still wearing the Christmas present I got him a week before. It was a shirt that said Marines on it because he was very proud of me being a Marine, and he wore it to work. He wore it when he passed away. So
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that, man.
yeah,
But I thank him for, creating you, you being my best friend and everything that you've done.